Welcome back, fam. This is episode 3 of Coffee, Kids, and Clarity. I am your host, Dawn Kralovich, and here at Coffee, Kids, and Clarity, we talk about real stuff, real feelings, real experiences, real growth, with a big slice of humor, because if not, we're crying in the pantry. Show of hands of any of you parents who, especially as moms, I mean, I'm not going to lie, there's been many a times I have cried in the pantry and or the shower. It's a good spot for that. So today in episode 3, we already have a couple of episodes out. You can go check those out. All information, by the way, just pause real quick. All information is listed where you can find me, all the stuff, always listed below. This episode today, I did title, I thought it was kind of fun, Life Be Lifing, right? What even is balance? Really, what is that? I mean, to me, it's a very highlighted cliche word, and it doesn't resonate as much, I think, because it's been thrown about like just everywhere. It's been thrown everywhere, just everywhere. And really, what does that mean, right? So we're going to dive in a little deeper there, what that looks like. And is it even real? Like, is it even something that actually exists in our world today? Okay. So yeah, take a seat, take a break, get your water, get your comfy slippers on, whatever you need to do, settle in, and we're going to ride this wave together. And again, always reach out. I'm here always. Information will be listed. You guys, I'm just going to say it. You always get a gifted free hour of coaching from me. It's free, just to experience it. If you want to just check me out like in real form, one-on-one, you get that. So don't be afraid, and I am here to answer all of the questions, rather. I mean, ask all of the questions, that's a given. But I'm here to answer all your questions, so please don't be afraid to reach out. I really am truly a very nice person. I am doing this from an immense place of service because I want to, because that's why I'm here. All right, so balance. I mean, do you just need a minute for that? Because, I mean, there was a point in time probably before I became a mom where that might have made a little more sense and maybe wasn't such a hyped up word as it is now. But entering motherhood, I can tell you, balance had kind of got thrown out the window for a while. And quite frankly, I don't know if it's ever been reinstated back into my life necessarily. So there's a couple of points here, right? I just want to call it out as I see it, in regards to, like, it's been marketed to us so differently, right? Like what balance is, what it should look like, that, again, the woulda, shoulda, coulda stuff. You guys, every episode you're going to hear me say that. So if you see it, hear it a lot, it's going to be part of my vocabulary here. Where, like, one day you wake up, and it's just everything's perfect, and work has been handled, kids have been dressed, meals have been made, oh my goodness, appointments have been made, the laundry not only has been taken out of the dryer, put on the bed, but it's actually been folded and put away and not hanging out on your vanity chair. I'm so guilty of that, by the way. I just want to side note, it's always there. I get to it when I get to it. So yeah, that's like everybody's thriving, right? I meditated for 90 minutes. If you see the look on my face right now, it's probably because that's just not realistic. It's not in my realm of real. And probably for most of you, that is also the case. So show of hands who that resonates with, because the truth is really here. Balance is not like a fixed state. It just really doesn't exist in that sense. So it's not static, if you will. Your energy isn't static. Your state of mind is not static. So, as we move through this, right, I mean, I could roll it off. Your needs aren't static. I could keep going for days. We're a limited time here, so I won't do that. But there are days in your life that require more from you. And then there's days in your life that may not require as much. And if you haven't checked out episode 2, the New Year's episode, I talk a little bit about that too, about, your energy audit and your capacity and what season of life you're in, and how that's going to resonate with you moving forward to reaching your goals or, doing all the things you want to do. So you can check that out as well. But it doesn't mean you're failing. Okay, I'm going to say it does not mean you are failing. Okay, it just means you're human and you're trying to figure stuff out like the rest of us. So if you could just, this part of the podcast, this right here and now, where we're super present in this moment, is just understand that I just want to validate for you, you're not failing. You're human. Again, human experience. Life is lifing you every day. Life lifes me on a continuous basis. And I've just learned over this process and this time and this realm, especially in life coaching, and just being health and wellness related, that the more I do that, the more it just stresses me out and just my nervous system goes haywire. So I just don't see the point in that. So that's something we can work on together, you and I, okay? Can we just add a little bit of light to it, a little bit of humor, and not make it so heavy, okay? So it's all the same. It's all the same across the board. And if we're going to tailor things that need to help us manage our day-to-day stuff, the lifing stuff, we gotta ease up. We gotta ease up on trying to force balance. It's not gonna work, and it hasn't worked, and then it just makes you feel bad. And that's what we don't want to do here, right? You got enough of that. There's enough outside stuff. You already have whatever narrative running in the background that's probably telling you you're not doing a good job too, which, again, plenty of episodes coming where we can discuss those as well. So let's just take a break from that, shall we? And I'm going to get real here, because, that's why I'm here. This is a very real, relatable podcast for that reason. Balance, I'm just going to say, is more of an alignment. Right? Like you hear, like, going to balance your tires. Well, when you balance tires, right, you're aligning them. So alignment is something that it's how it feels, not how it looks. I want to say that again. We'll just deep breath for you. Okay. Alignment is how it feels, not how it looks. Because on the outside, whatever's going on, all the things where kids need to be, whatever's going on, but internally, you're aligning. You're trying to get things to here. They're gonna come back and forth. That's life. But then you come back to this place, if you will, of this alignment that you are now familiar with, right? We want to move it from unfamiliar to familiar, right? So we're not gonna stress about balance. We're just gonna kind of get it back realigned to what it is that feels good for you, right? And you can ask certain questions to get to that point, okay? You can ask does this feel supportive in what I'm doing right now? That's a big one, because support, it looks different for all of us, especially if it's like a certain love language for you. Like, I don't know, great example, like my husband's love language is touch and mine is acts of service. So that can differ from person to person. That can differ in the dynamic for relationship too. So does that feel supportive? Does it pace match with your capacity? I had to slow down and say that. Yes, I had to read that accordingly, because that was a little bit of a tongue twister. Does this pace match my capacity today? I like that, right? Because when you think about that, who are you trying to outrun? Who are you running from? Like, who are you competing against? What is it, right? Your own energy and the capacity in which you do things. So again, that's another word you'll hear me say a lot of, the energy audit, the capacity, again, on repeat, because I want to really hammer those things home throughout these podcast episodes, because it's important. And there are really things that have really stuck with me personally and professionally. So, and are you honoring yourself through this? Again, can you just honor where you're at and stop beating yourself up for it, right? Instead of trying to, abandon yourself in the moment and just leave yourself to the wolves. That's a good one. We're just gonna take a deep breath. That's a good one. I like that a lot. Because consistency in balance, if you will, that we're looking at here, again, I don't know if that necessarily exists, because life is going like this. So if we're gonna find any consistency in this, it's gonna be like here, and that's gonna look different. Right? And consistency always may not always be the most exciting thing. Like if you're working on health and fitness stuff, right? Like the workouts and trying to get stuff in, like it may not always be the most exciting thing for you, but again, here we are, we're just tugboating along. So that consistency in that is gonna match your energy. So let's see, let's check that a lot. The changing of it's like changing a diaper on your baby, okay? It's like, actually, I'd refer to it to chasing a toddler trying to change their pull-up. for me, that seems a little bit more feasible because it's something you're constantly chasing down, right? Like it's going to change daily. There might be an interruption in your day in which that, like a kid got sick. So it's got to shift, right? And you want to be able to handle the shift and not lose everything completely about that day or just, well, that's it. Everything's gone to to poo-poo because here we are. So yeah, in just kind of feeling that sense of being productive in what that means to you. Again, what does success means to you? What does being productive actually mean for you? Because what that means for me, again, it's probably going to look different for what it means for you. So speaking of being productive, we're going to take a quick break. So if you need to go to the bathroom, hydrate, whatever, pull your hair up, put it in a messy bun, which mine will probably be after the podcast, go ahead and do that now. We'll be back in a few minutes. Welcome back. Stay hydrated. Support your immune system. So before I move on to the next part of where I want to go with this, I just wanted to kind of finish off the alignment part, right? Because some days alignment looks like this, and some days alignment looks like that. And examples for that, right? It might look like you crushed a to-do list. You killed the workout. You ate exactly what you wanted to eat that day, and you felt really productive. And then other days it looks like finally you get to Netflix binge and catch up on those episodes of that show you really wanted to watch. That's kind of what I did during Christmas break. That was a win for me. Or saying no or canceling plans that you didn't want to do. You just didn't feel like doing that you might have made in a space where at that time that's what you felt like. So just knowing that even alignment shifts, fluidity. Remember that word. Fluidity. Both count, both matter. It's all relevant, so don't be so hard on yourself here, okay? Moving into it, why we think doing it all is the flex, but it isn't. Shout out to all my working mamas out there and working daddies. It's hard. It's hard trying to fit in all of the things, and it's not always necessary sometimes to feel good and still achieve those things you want to achieve, right? Somewhere along the line, we learned that doing it all meant like that was success, that we were doing it right. I want to just be, if you haven't heard it, the first person to tell you that no, no, that it doesn't mean that, that's what success looks like. If you didn't check out again, episode 2 of the podcast kind of touched on that too. Like, I would really start again with defining what success looks like for you and then going from there, because it doesn't mean doing it all is exactly that for you. And it doesn't have to be, right? Like what someone told you, society told you, it doesn't mean it's right for you. Okay. We have this big, beautiful thing called social media, which as good it is, sometimes it really can stress you out because then there's that comparison thing where you're watching other people's do other people's. Is that an actual word? I sound like my 3-year-old. Other people doing all of these things and you're not. And then, again, it's added to more of that crap that you feel, that weight of like you're missing the mark, you're failing. I'm here to tell you, you're not failing. Okay, if you need to hear that, I just want you can just kind of reverse this, rewind, hit play again as many times as you need to hear this from me. You're not a failure because you didn't do what everybody else is doing. Okay, that's not working. It doesn't work. It hasn't actually worked. We've just been led to believe that. I'm not going to say who. I'm not going to mention names, but that's kind of where we led. Whether it came from your parents, a teacher, somebody close to you, a family, a friend, like a family member, a friend, right? Whomever might have said that to you, or maybe your lived experience kind of set that in your narrative in the background, and that's, what you think you're supposed to be doing. So see, what happens here, I have learned both professionally and personally, is that we hit this thing called burnout, and that feels like utter doo-doo, okay? At like 100 miles per hour, right? I felt this when I stopped working bedside as a nurse. The burnout was so real. I felt like I had hit a wall at, Mach 90, like Tasmanian devil speed. Okay, it didn't feel good, and it literally, the cascade effect it had on everything else in my life, it kind of tore me down. Right, it disconnects us from our bodies. Like we feel almost out of body. We don't even know, and then we're just kind of searching. Like we feel like we're up in the hot air balloon. You're just up in a hot air balloon, not really knowing what's happening in your body, and it does. I will say, from my own personal experience, it created some resentment. Not only did it create this internal resentment for like how like I had like the, what is it, the angel and the devil on either side of my shoulder, like those voices, saying this and that. But it had me like resenting people that were happy around me, that were experiencing other things. And, they're like, whoa, why are you not smiling? Why are you this? Why are you not that? And I would just, this resentment would build. So we want to pump the brakes. We want to pause and think about that. Like, is it all we think it is doing this, right? Like, is it all of those things, right? And again, if we're focusing on balance, like, what does that even mean, right? It's all equivalent to like success, production, whatever that looks like. So really kind of circling back and coming back in and just defining what all of that is for us personally, and kind of moving from there into the rest of this, okay? And nobody wants to stay in survival mode. I'm sure you hear that. That's kind of like a buzzword too. But it's the truth. Like, nobody wants to feel like a tiger is chasing them to make them their dinner, right? Like it used to be. Nobody wants to stay in that because, again, the cascading effect, the domino effect, if you will be like your nervous system just gets tapped out. And you can't handle anything coming your way. And that doesn't feel good. My great example of that, by the end of the day, witching hours in my house are between 3 and 7:30 p.m. Like that's like just, everybody's on go. And by that time, by like dinner time, I'm just tapped out. I'm just kind of tapped out at that point. I cannot handle anymore. And then I feel like I can't speak, like my words aren't coming out clear. I have no patience. I'm agitated. I can feel my heart race a little bit. So all of those things we want to simmer them down, simmer down. We don't want that. Right? We don't want that, because that is definitely the furthest thing from alignment, aka balance, whatever you want to label it, okay? And it's being capable is not the same thing as being obligated. Okay, I've kind of spoke on that previously in another episode. Just, it doesn't mean the same. Just because you can doesn't mean you should. Right? I mean, again, hello, we're gonna like come back to kindergarten rules here. What is the golden rule? Treat others as you want to be treated. Right? Just because you can doesn't mean you should. We all know what that is. So if you can just do me the solid here, take the breath, take the moment, pause, think about what I'm saying to you in this moment, and just figure that part out. Like, that's the part, right? If we're trying to reach for something more that we want, that we deem that's going to bring us peace and joy and happiness and all the thing with, that big like vat of loving intention behind it, that's something we have to think about. Okay. And on to presence. I was going to bring it up, like being present in the moment. So what actually is that, right? What does that actually look like? So if balance isn't the goal, can presence be the goal, right? Can you just like right where you're at? So we're not focused so like out here where it hasn't even happened yet, or not focused so far behind us that's happened in the past that we just keep dwelling on it and repeating the same patterns, actions, behaviors, whatnot, okay? Presence is being where your feet are. Isn't that the most grounded thing you've ever heard? See what I did there? Is being just present is just exactly where you are, right? Like you and I in this moment right now. This is it. This is all that's happening right now. So where else you got to be? We're just doing this right now, right? You and me here? That is right where your feet are. I like that. That was something I sat with when I was going through the show notes and thinking about stuff. I really, really loved that. So that's a good one. Responding instead of reacting. For all you married couples out there, those of us in committed relationships, long-term relationships, in any relationship really, but that's a big one. Right? Is because when you get to this place where things are out of alignment, you don't feel good internally, and then the external stuff is added on. I mean, it's usually the person closest to you that you have a tendency to maybe not be as patient, or might be a little more agitated or quick to react instead of responding in a better way. Okay, so that's a good one, and especially with kids, man. The little ones, they don't know. They're not thinking about anything but what's going on in their little world. So, what better way to be present with your kid instead of like reacting to something if they're at like in that phase of just being annoying or you just can't take anymore, and just responding in a loving way, right? Listen, I got 5 kids. It's like on repeat here. It's something I constantly have to like process and move through. So. I'm here for that. And also like just choosing what actually matters today, because again, that thing in control, the thing you like try to control all the time, every day, all day, like that takes us out of the present moment because we're so focused over here. Like I get the mom brain. Like I totally out of all people understand that in regards to like, we have all of this going on, but that's my mom version. Like the Dawn version is right here and right now, and that's where I want to stay, in this lane, okay? Before we kind of wrap up and get to the next one, we're going to take another little quick break. So again, you can hydrate, gather yourself, if there's something you want to like rewind and play again so you can listen. Now will be the time to do so. See you in a minute. And welcome back. Look at you being present because you came back. I know, cliche. Sorry, I had to throw it in there. So last but not least, as we kind of wrap up this episode, like a gentle practice we can use today, like right now, present, real time, real life, right now, right? I want to make it simple, fam, because I'm not here to overcomplicate. There's enough in your life, I'm sure, that you get that plenty. So why complicate it more? So before you say yes to anything today, pause. Again, nothing's on fire. Okay, I'm going to just absolutely clarify. If it is an emergency, let it be an emergency and be emergent about it. Okay, I just want to make that very clear. However, it's not. It's not on fire. You don't have to respond to that email you just got. You can wait 30 seconds. I mean, a minute even to respond. Okay, take the pause. It doesn't take much. It doesn't take much out of your day, and I have found it actually makes my day a little better because I actually thought about it and didn't respond just from a place of familiarity or knowing, like whatever that is, just because it doesn't mean it was the right thing. It's just because it was familiar, right? Because sometimes we do things out of being familiar even though they don't feel good, okay? And before you push through, check in with yourself. Again, pause, check in, like audit that energy. Do I have the capacity for this stuff right now? Is this really what I want to do? Is this going to help? Okay, really think about that before we jump to the right to the next, right? I mean, ask yourself, what is one thing that felt supportive today? It could be the littlest thing. It could be a text from a friend, okay? It could be a hug from your husband, okay? I didn't mean that to rhyme, but you get where I'm going with this, like something that actually was supportive, that felt good here, to add to you getting like realigned and balanced back to self, okay? And what is one thing I can let go of, even if it's temporary, okay? I'm gonna add that right on, even if it is temporary, because it might be something that you have to come back to, but you can like release it right in this moment, and that tomorrow you can readdress it, okay? That is also kind of prioritizing self. I mean, if that's not self-care, I kind of am a loss at what is, right? Because that's you prioritizing like your energy again and the capacity, your brain, your nervous system, all of that stuff. Okay, so I'm gonna lend that to you in this moment, and hopefully that helps. And what would alignment look like for you right now? Not balance, okay? Get off the teeter-totter. Alignment. What would be one thing that would align with you right in this moment, right? Is it adding the glass of water? Is it having an extra snack? Whatever that looks like. Is it taking an extra 2 minutes in the bathroom just to get away from the kids and just to gather recompose yourself before you start to the next task like dinner? Okay, just simple things. I actually just want to like not throw a wrench in your whole day. Just things that you can actually adhere to that might be reasonable just for you. For you, friend. Just for you. Not for anybody else, just for you. Okay? So just to kind of wrap up this, maybe balance isn't the goal idea on this podcast episode, is that This is your permission slip for today, right? You don't need to have it all together. I don't. I mean, I don't know anybody that really has every single thing together all the time. That doesn't seem relatable or normal, if you will. And you don't need to do it all. To all of my moms out there especially, this is me to you. You do not have to do it all. Your kids still love you, okay? And you don't need to look balanced to be aligned, okay? You don't have to have it all figured out. Not everything has to be perfect, right? To be aligned to what are the things that matter to you, okay? So, you know, when you do this, when you have this on repeat, the relationship with yourself gets stronger, and then this feels better, and then it's easier to access and do, okay? So think about all this. Real quick to our next episode for next week. This is for my mom. So, I mean, I think everybody should watch this, but this is Motherhood Mayhem and the Micro Moments of Magic. Yes, I said that out loud. This is gonna be like between the chaos and then actually deep connection in the in-betweens of that. Because gratitude, presence, and laughter, when everyone just wants a piece of you, like that matters. And like how we can actually do that and kind of gain our bearings and still feel good about ourselves and what we did for the day. And not, you know, that huge layer cake of guilt, like mom guilt that we like to do. That part. So that's what's going to be for next week. I hope you tune in. Any questions, concerns, my information will always be linked below. I'm just going to say I'm grateful. I'm so grateful for this right here, right now, to be here with you. You'll probably hear me say that every single time I step out of the episode. So thank you for that. And you know what? Let's be real. If it doesn't fit into real life between the kid drop off, the dinner, the meals, the planning, it's just not the vibe, right? So I'm going to leave it at that. Have a great day. I'll see you guys next week.